Hey guys, welcome to a special Halloween episode of Nerd Impact. Today we're just gonna bullshit about some
Yeah, we're gonna talk about some fun maybe some Halloween memories.
some
Might
Halloween
talk
comics
about some monster
or
movies.
horror comics.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. I've been pestering this guy here next to me for quite a little while. Something that before we started all this that we used to like to do, and just bullshit about some comics. And I brought over a whole big old stack of horror comics I've been collecting. And what's cool is my super knowledgeable nerdy friend here, Chris Massey's, one of his few things that he doesn't have a big background on.
I do know this one though.
Yes, he does. So I got a bunch of things. Some stuff in here you'll be familiar with.
Man Thing.
Yeah, and this is actually
R.L. Stein.
Yeah, this is a recent release. Get a good up of that. This came out. You added this part out too, though. Maybe you can.
You know it's been a long day when I'm seeing a Man Thing comic and I see Marvel. I'm like, Marvel does Man Thing?
But yeah, this is pretty cool. This was Man Thing's reboot. It's pretty cool. It's a little updated style. I didn't bring my old man. I have some old Man Things, some original series runs. The stories of the new one, like he said, this was done by R.L. Stein, famously known for doing Goosebumps. My buddy Chris Massey, big Goosebumps fan, and it even kind of has some of that, more magical that kind of look to it, more fantastical.
So while we're on the topic of R.L. Stein, what's your favorite Goosebumps episode?
Oh, favorite Goosebumps episode. I like Don't Go in the Basement. It was really good.
When the guy turns into a plant.
Yeah.
Very Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Man Thing. Sorry.
Sorry, Swamp. Sorry.
Man Thing. Everything burns.
Yeah.
At the touch of the Man Thing.
Touch of the Man Thing. But yeah, no, I like Don't Go in the Basement. Was a good one. I got a few of them. That's one I watched that one recently, and I really did like that one. I often don't like the Goosebumps. I like pretty much any Goosebumps episode that's like, I like the one-part ones. I don't like the ones that carry over the two-part ones. I like them better as like one-shots.
Okay.
Some of them are good. Like Night of the Living Dummy. That's a great one.
Right, well most of the two-parters were also specials. They were like TV movies. They weren't.
No, there was a lot of them. Yeah, believe it or not, two-parters was like a good chunk of that series.
I think I'm thinking about two-parter differently because I guess it wasn't really a two-parter. I'm thinking of, well, it was two different books, so it wasn't a two-parter. I'm thinking of my favorite is The Haunted Mask.
Haunted Mask is a good one.
And
yeah.
part 2 might have been better than part 1.
Yeah, I have to agree with that, especially the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
The idea that, for those that don't know, with The Haunted Mask, one of the scariest, well, there's two very scary things in the first episode. Or at least for a 10-year-old kid watching it. What I remember getting me was when she's looking for the line where the mask meets her skin.
Oh yeah.
And she can't find it.
She can't find it. Oh yeah.
Horrifying.
Like a suffocating feeling that you get. Like, oh my god, can you imagine being trapped underneath the mask? Oh, I don't know. Well, God, all right, we're here. Like, we got a bunch more here to go through. And I brought a whole bunch of different stuff. Oh, we were talking about him earlier.
Darkman.
Another DC. You want to hold that up? Let them take a look at what we're looking at.
You might better recognize him as Liam Neeson.
Yes. Yeah, we got some cool stuff. Now that was now the character was taken from the film Darkman, but Marvel really did their own thing on it. It was like definitely one of their darker books at the time.
Didn't the character Darkman doesn't he predate the movies?
Yeah, but he wasn't originally Marvel comics.
Oh no, I know he wasn't Marvel.
Yeah.
But he was a pulp hero.
Yep, yeah, definitely pulp hero. Now we're gonna go. Well, let's see. Let's go from pulp hero to cult hero. Big fan of this guy.
Again, Marvel. Now was he created by Stan Lee?
No. He was created by Lloyd Kaufman of Troma.
Stan Lee though narrated the second or third movie.
The third movie.
Okay.
We got a few of these. Here's actually
Is that the one where Toxic Avenger female?
A live one.
The third one?
No, there is a female Toxie in it, but Toxie's in all of them.
Okay.
We got some Toxie there.
Some more Toxie.
Yeah.
This one has the movie version.
Then that's actually a shot that wasn't actually in the movie, and that's from the first part. Let's see here. Let's go outside of Marvel.
See, here we actually have a rare crossover of Toxie with Carlos from from The Hangover.
From The Hangover. That's pretty funny. With the glasses. Oh my God! Yeah. It's like, look at him. Look at him. He's playing with it.
The pumpkin found that funny.
Of course. Let's see. Let's here.
We're gonna sound like real idiots if we play these back and we realize you can't hear the pumpkin.
Right.
Because we'll be like, what the hell are they talking about?
All right. Let's go off brand. Let's go.
Oh, by the way, there's if you didn't see it in the earlier video, Baby Yoda's back there just for Halloween.
Rocking his mask.
His mask of the, I was just a Mask of the Opera. I was gonna say his Mask of the Phantasm mask.
Ooh.
Is it the
Dark Horse Presents. It's a pretty rare one. This is the apparent first appearance of the mask, which you would later see is done by Jim Carrey, but he was originally quite a dark and mysterious figure. Usually just a
concrete, yes.
Kind of a maniacal character in the background, causing mischief and hijinks. And
it's spelled. It's spelled the alternate spelling there.
Right, because that's the original writer of the mask was French.
Okay.
It was actually a French artist that came up with it, and the story in here is very has like a film noir look to the black and white comic.
Is it pronounced the same way in French? Is it mask or is it?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna
be
honest. How funny would we say? Like, I'm sure we'll find out if that's wrong or not.
Amanda knows some French. I should ask her.
Here, check this one out. I think this one's really cool. And I haven't read this one yet.
Cool.
Very, very cool. Very cool cover. Defunct. My fascination with horror comics, Massey, is like I love all comics, but it's usually the stories in the comics. You know what I mean? Like the long runs and the long storylines of most comics that I really enjoy. But there's something about horror comics and just the way that the cover art just takes you to a whole different place.
I bet nobody knew that they ever made a comic about Willem Dafoe.
He does. That's like almost like that footage of Willem Dafoe playing the Joker. Like,
no, it looks kind of like when Willem Dafoe played what's his name from the Netflix movie.
Oh,
the adaptation of the anime. Why am I blanking?
I don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's caused me to blank at the same time.
Not Black Butler. That wasn't the one.
Oh, here, we'll do this one. Everybody will freak out over these. Here we go. There's something familiar. These are from Original Run.
Is that Rob?
Yep.
Kirkman.
Yep.
And if you watch one of our earlier videos, talked about Kirkman has a series coming out on Amazon of Invincible.
Yeah.
An adaptation of Invincible. Gotta keep everything on brand here, Jake. Gotta tie everything together.
That's awesome. But yeah, like take a look at. They'll see like if you
the black and white's cool.
Yeah, and that's kind of why like I have a hard time with the Walking Dead series because like this came out before the Walking Dead series. Obviously, the Walking Dead series was based on the comic series.
Right. They have. I think they have a special edition of some of the episodes. They actually do them in black and white.
I've never seen it, but that sounds really cool, and I think the aesthetic of it. Robert Kirkman is a huge fan of George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, and his Walking Dead is almost in a way like a homage to that. And I've just always felt like the imagery should have felt more old fashioned, you know.
Death Note was the movie I couldn't remember.
Death Note, that's good stuff too. Let's see, what else do we got here?
Got some Johnny, for those that love Invader Zim. By the creator of Invader Zim, we got Johnny the Homicidal
Now
Maniac.
this is not all, most of these books, not all these books are for all readers.
All ages.
Yeah, this This
Much
is
like
for-
the show that Nickelodeon ended up kicking off because it was a bit too mature.
Right. This
Johnny
is
the
one of those books
Homicidal
that's
Maniac should never be made into an animated series
No,
intended
but
for children.
if you have a strong stomach and a broad sense of humor, that is one of the best comics you're ever
The
going to
te-
get.
the
And the
teacher-
artist, Johan Vasquez, is a legend.
Right, and the teacher is in this as well, isn't she?
Yes.
From Vader's Zim,
Yes.
as well as
She's not in every comic, but yeah, she's
And-
crossed over into it.
there's a character Helmo, which is the demented version of Elmo.
That is correct. I didn't bring the first one along with me.
Jersey Devil looks very Nightcrawler-ish. Friday the 13th.
These were made in
Freddy.
all in tone with the actual
Or was it Ash?
with the movie universes. They did a run for Friday the 13th. They did a run for Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
I actually, when this came out, I was fortunate enough when the first issue of Friday the 13th comics came out, and it was the first production run. The name, it's at the bottom there, House of Horrors. They did a big promo run where they went to a lot of conventions and stuff. I got to meet the artist who did the first who did the first run of these. I have
Mhm.
issue 1. It's a red hologram cover that has it's personally signed of the first issue. So it's pretty cool. He's one of the only actual comic artist writers that I got to meet. So that's pretty cool. That's in my memory bank. That's not a comic I don't take that out often. That's a good one. You were looking at this one here.
Yeah, I'm curious about this.
This is the reason why you're curious about that, because you never heard of it, just like most people haven't. It was a one-shot that was done very independent back in the early 90s.
South Jersey Rebellion Productions.
You can take it out if you'd like to take it out. Give everybody a peek of something. I guarantee you,
This is Nightcrawler's Jersey cousin.
if if by any chance that the guy who put this comic book together, probably when he was in high school or just afterwards, man, I would love to hear from you, man, because you're as
This
you
is
can see,
really
it's amazing. Like the inking
This is so
incredible,
independent style,
and it's the only.
and I love
issue.
how cheap the paper is.
Yep. It was done on that very independent market. This was in the 90s when anybody could get a comic printed. It's really, really impressive. These are all hand drawn, and
Yeah, this is like
and
the
not by
paper that like
professionals.
gold.
This is amateur
Yeah, right. You got
independent
the-
comics.
You got the waxy, was it like acid paper?
Yeah.
The waxy paper that the newer, from like the I guess the 80s or
Yeah,
90s forward.
acetone paper is
The
what they
acetone.
used back then.
This is like newspaper grade paper.
Yeah.
Like
So show them the drawing on the back. Like it's pretty crazy, but back then, like it's not like now, like man, where you got to have like some serious money and be working for already be working for a distributor or
Was
a
there only-
publishing company. Like now, you could back then you could get independent publishing rights and create your own thing.
was there only one issue?
Yeah. Well, I have quite a few of them. Actually, that Ghouls one that we were looking at, that's another one on that same line. Just had a
Okay.
little bit better production value to it. But it's just really cool, and like I just like finding those obscure kind of things. Like it's very cool, and like we're from PA, so that's right down the street from us to New Jersey, and it's cool having such this area of the East Coast is we're in the haunted belt of the United States. There's a lot of haunted history around this area, and like something like the Jersey Devil, I've always thought was really cool. So finding this one shot was just was a one shot.
You ever been to the Twin Tunnels?
Yes, I have been, and the Lost Highway.
I have a story I will tell.
Do
of
you?
The Twin Tunnels. Actually, Disson was there. Disson came with. A few of us used to work at Longhorn. Went, and we drove through the Twin Tunnels. But what was interesting was, so we were taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
The whole way, like we were just goofing off in the car, taking pictures of each other. Continued to take pictures as we were slowly making our way through the tunnels. All the pictures developed before we entered the tunnel, up to when we went through the tunnel. None of the pictures developed while we were in the tunnel, and then they start developing again when we came out of the tunnel.
Wow, that is crazy.
Well, I'm saying developed. They were on my phone,
Right.
but they were all black while we were in the tunnel. And there was a flash on my camera,
Right.
and there was lights on in the car. And when we came out the other side, they started coming through again.
That's crazy. I don't have a wild story like that from my experiences. Just the normal eeriness of it.
You walk through, like, that was where we did a walkthrough too. And we're like, that was where the suitcase was found with that girl chopped up in it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Didn't somebody like was hung above it, and
Yeah.
somebody was found? There's like a creek that runs under it too, right?
Yeah.
Where's that at? Is that in Downingtown?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like right outside. Yeah, right outside Downingtown. Here you like your IDW guys, right? You're a fan?
Yeah.
Check this out. These are pretty goofy.
Grumpy old monsters. These all look like cereal mascots.
It does, but this story is, imagine the universe where the Universal monsters they're not movie monsters, they're just
like
real life characters.
Frankenberry?
And they all got old, and they're all in the same retirement home.
Count Chocula? What was the Mummy's cereal? Was there a Mummy cereal?
Yeah, there was. It was
Oh, we don't gotta go, so we don't got
fruit
Blueberry.
something. But no, these are really cool. Like, honestly, like the story to these are really, really great, and the animation is really fun.
There you go. There's that acetone paper.
Yeah.
Or acid. What is it? Acid.
Acetone.
It is acetone paper.
It's done like almost like it kind of looks like a Cartoon Network cartoon. And it's a comedy version of your favorite classic monsters, but they're all super old, and it's a parody of them in a retirement home,
Okay.
and they're constantly trying to escape. And what happens because of their monster attributions end up always causing them to get caught. It's a really funny little series. It was a short run, 4-issue run. I had a really good time reading that series, Grumpy Old Monsters, and that's a great one for kids too. It really is. That's a fun one. It's a good introduction to comics and monsters at the same time. Now these
Scary
are
Tales was an anthology series, right?
well, yeah, I have a few of those. I like to bust a couple of them out. Here we go. We haven't given DC some.
The House of
Let's give them
Mystery,
some
yep.
limelight. Like that's a really cool one.
I've seen this one before.
And this is before all the worlds of. This is during simpler times before your regular horror movies and horror shows were on TV. You went to your comics. You know, some of these are like post EC comics. If any of you are familiar with the EC
Right, and
comics runs,
parents really had a problem with these types of comics.
they considered them devil worship,
Yep.
and illogical reading for their children. This kind of reading will make you stupid. You'll never get anywhere reading things like this, will you, Massey?
Nope.
Won't ever get on the internet.
Nope, and you'll never get an engineering degree. You'll never get a master's in statistics.
That's right. You will not be a contributing factor to society. That's what they said. What's the biggest corporation in the entire planet?
Oh, Disney.
Disney Marvel. That's right. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that's right. Huh.
That little mom and pop shop.
Yeah, that little old place. They'll never make it. Actually, here, you know what? I definitely got to show this one off. And I know I'm a Marvel boy, as you know. I'm coming over to the DC side quite a bit recently. But I mean, come on, that's some great stuff. Look at that.
Ugh, rats.
Oh, he hates rats.
Don't tell people that.
One of my favorite gross out toys of the 80s. Very fun. Hey, anybody who has any of these comics, hold on to them. Got a lot of good aesthetic value to these. Toy collectors, comic collectors, we all love those. Mad Balls are super fun.
Ooh, got some Lovecraft up in here.
Yeah, this is a really cool series. Sherlock Frankenstein. If Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Frankenstein were the same man, but yet a megalomaniac, and a group of human detectives had to stop him, and one of them actually happened to be a reanimated corpse that he had initially reanimated.
So where's the Cthulhu coming?
That's like that just happens to be one of the side characters. That's a case that the detective is following.
Okay. Is he actually supposed to be Cthulhu?
It's you're gonna crack up. Here you can see that's Mr. Cthulhu right there. I'll give you get a little segment here. Hold on.
You know what they say. Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
Whatever floats your boat.
That's his name, Cthulhu.
Oh, so he's Cthulhu. Not Cthulhu.
Right. Exactly.
The pumpkin thinks that's funny.
It is pretty funny, but it's basically like Cthulhu is he's turned himself into a being that can kind of like send his evil sprite inside of people,
Okay.
where you end up sprouting something like this after you touch him out of your head.
You turn into a squid.
Yeah, you turn into a squid head.
You become calamari.
But yeah, there he is.
He's a smoker.
Lou Comiskey.
And a drinker.
Look at how he talks. Hey, what's up? That's pretty good stuff. Like, he used to be married, chain smoker. He's got terrible language, too, that Cthulhu. Says here, what do we got? Gotta say, though, it's been pretty hard making ends meet. Nobody wants to hire a plumber that looks like calamari. You know what I mean? But it don't matter now. Those days are over. I retired right before the cataclysm. So like I said, I had no part in what Sherlock was planning. So it's like Sherlock has created like an extreme device. You know what I mean?
So if Sherlock Holmes was Dr. Frankenstein, he'd be a villain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Darkness.
Very cool. Very cool stuff. I'm not sure that's
Darkness had wasn't there a Batman crossover with Darkness?
Yeah, and then he kind of fell into obscurity, really. And I think
there was actually.
Well, I mean, Top Cow isn't that. I think they don't exist anymore.
I know, but this may have been a fan thing. But I remember seeing art. Like I said, it may have been fan art. But I remember seeing art that featured Darkness, Venom, and Batman together.
That'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be some wild times. And see, it's like, dude, like you're just watching.
I don't know if I showed that to them.
Seeing how the
a very Spawn style character.
Absolutely. I think this whole like the Top Cow are the same group that created Witchblade.
Mm-hmm.
They even had the artist what's commonly worked on Elektra. Also worked for Top Cow.
So Top Cow was an Image imprint? Am I seeing that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which of course we still have Image.
Yeah. Like I said, I think when they finally absorbed the rest of Top Cow, I think some of the stuff kind of, fell along the wayside.
They probably got rid of him because he is very Spawn derivative.
Yeah. But I think that's why they designed him.
Vampirella.
Like classic stuff. And this is the one I chose. I mean, come on, guys. Seriously.
Is that the same? Was that the same series that did Lady Death?
No. Vampirella was before Lady Death, but I'm a huge Lady Death fan.
Well, right, but were they both Image? Or no, that's not Image.
No, Harris Comics has always done Vengeance of Vampirella has been around since like the 60s.
Okay.
This was real. I love these because of stuff like this. Now, Vampirella, be honest with you, believe it or not, she's one of the first live-action comic book movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It didn't have a wide release, but tell me you wouldn't watch that?
The live action?
Yeah, this is the actress. This is a very clean centerfold in a comic book. But it was very common in Vampirella comics was vampires kind of have a sultry, sexual edge to their horror. That's kind of, it's a romantic horror. So Vampirella definitely preyed on that 60s when, exploitation and, sexploitation was becoming quite a thing. They kind of like used that as she was one of the first like adult comics,
Right.
comics for mature readers. Like you had Conan, you had like Savage Sword of Conan, and you had Vampirilla. Like I have some of her older, like the bigger magazine size comics before they went to this size comics, which are really cool. We were talking about Lady Death. This one's really cool.
There we go.
And this is a gallery comic.
Here's a Lady Death one for you.
I
Lady
love
Death
the back of this
also-
comic. Here, show them the back of this comic. Isn't that great? It's just black.
Lady Death also featured. There he is,
Yep. Evil Ernie.
Evil Ernie, a character that I always found kind of similar to Lobo in some ways.
Yeah, a little bit. He's a little more locked to the devil, where Lobo is
More of an
intergalactic.
anti-hero.
Yeah,
I guess Evil Ernie's more of a straight villain, right?
yeah, he's all bad. That's a great picture of Lady Death.
Oh, is there an actual comic in here? Or is this just
No, it's all gallery.
Oh, it's just a gallery.
Yep.
Oh, Chaos Gallery. Yeah.
Which I like those. I used to love those comics. That's where I got a lot of my sketching prowess from. Get ideas, draw characters. It was really cool. Seeing
Which way
those.
do you do your comics, Jake? Facing away or facing?
That way. Yeah. Yeah, I wrap in the back. For the ones that are wrapped, some of them just are not. I'm still waiting for this to come out. Slated to be a major motion picture.
And what year?
From Rogue Pictures, which doesn't exist anymore.
25 cents. So I'm
Yeah.
guessing it was sometime in the 90s.
2005, 2006.
Wow, 25 cents in 2000.
Well, it was a promo comic.
That was a promo. Okay.
And that came out also with a graphic novel. I didn't bring the graphic novel with me. Really cool, though. Hack and Slash is basically like an unlikely duo between a golem-type monster and a Van Helsing-esque female fighter. And they basically are like the Mystery Incorporated, but deal with real monsters.
Oh,
I
this
love
is a Charlatan.
Yeah, that's one of
Charlatan was
my favorites.
yeah. Charlatan was later acquired by DC Comics, was responsible for a lot of cool characters such as Blue Beetle, The Question, Captain Atom,
Metamorpho.
was it Metamorpho?
Oh no, that was in.
That was DC.
Yeah.
Oh God, sorry. Yeah, and the other cool thing about Charlatan was a lot of those characters. So when they did The Watchmen, it was intended to originally be all Charlatan characters, but they had other plans for the characters and knew that a lot of them were going to die in the series, so they didn't want to use them. Because at the time, when you killed characters off in comics, they stayed dead.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Well, so it's cool. It's like, and like there were two major ones. Like we were talking, I was talking EC Comics earlier, and EC ended up being absorbed by Marvel, and they used the same EC style of advertising. They added their Marvel Comics group, and they just changed the titles where like they're like the original Tales from the Crypt Keeper and Vault of Horror. They were all EC comic stories, so they just changed. They took those names away, and they had like Fear, and they had one that was called Suspense, and stuff like that. And they were really cool. But Charlatan, I think, topped them on those kind of stories, whereas EC or like the Marvel version of like Fear comics and stuff like that were kind of closer to like more horror related. Charlatan comics were like the Twilight Zone or like more that kind,
Right.
more mysterious Alfred Hitchcock hour kind of stuff. Like this one here is like a perfect example. You know what I mean? It's more like, very like this looks like a Twilight Zone story.
Very anthology, very contained stories.
Yeah, and like kind of like twists.
Until Charlatan decided to try to get into the superhero game.
Yeah, and they're like twists on like on dreams or like an alternate reality. A man falls asleep, wakes up a different person, or it's like what happened if you woke up and your reality isn't your reality anymore? What if every door led to a different world, kind of stuff, which is really cool. And I think, and there's been some newer anthology shows that have been coming out recently But like those kind of stories, I mean, just granted, you know, they're stuck in their time. Like I don't think people would be as, you know, thrilled, or like, you know, suspense is kind of dead in a way. You know what I mean? Like it's been replaced by jump scares. But I mean, like the storytelling of those old series, I love going back and watching old Twilight Zone episodes. Like I instantly fall in love for 30 minutes and just be totally enthralled in a story. You know, that's like, it's closed. It's a really interesting. It's not like something normal that you would think of, and it just always seems like those stories, even though they were filmed in the you know, like in the 50s and 60s, they're timeless. Like we're like it could like wow, like that could be stuff like it's like happening like right now. Like it's just as relative, those stories now in black and white, as seeing them in today's day and age, which is really, really cool. I'd like to see a new take on Night Gallery, or like Twilight Zone, or Alfred Hitchcock Hour. I'd like to see somebody tackle some of those stories. I think that would be really, really cool. Here's a cool Dark Horse one.
Got some aliens.
Yep. That's a cool one.
You can argue, depending on the movie, whether the series was more sci-fi or horror or action.
Yeah, as I say, I think it. You know, I agree. I think it's a hybrid of both. I can see that as seeing, you know, sitting on the fence with it,
or the third one, which was just
a waste of everybody's time.
Well, not just that, the entire movie's one big plot hole.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's like what's the fun of that? There's one alien and no guns.
Well, so what I want to know about aliens?
No, wait, there was one gun, wasn't there? Wasn't there one?
I don't know, but Ripley was part alien. And
no, not in the third one. She was just pregnant with the alien.
Well, no,
Yeah, because she falls off the thing and the alien pops out of her chest. She was like an incubator. She was an incubator for the alien. You're thinking of Resurrection.
Right, because I always think about, when I think about aliens...
Rider. That's the one you're thinking of.
That was 4.
Yeah.
4 is the one I'm thinking about. 4 was a big plot hole.
Yep.
Because...
with all the weird offshoots, like the clones, like when they were trying to clone Ripley.
That's fine. But
no, it's not. Did you see some of those cryptic-looking cryptoids?
No,
they were terrible looking.
I was fine with that, and I was even fine with the idea that because she was cloned while she was impregnated with an alien, that some of the alien DNA was spliced with her own. That was fine to me as well. What I don't understand is what is this idea they had that if they cloned her, that the clone would also be pregnant, so that they could extract the alien.
I think it's one of those, like, it's like a carousel idea. Whereas in, like, you know, that was the only way that they could always circle back to the beginning of the plot. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know, and that's exactly. I think they ran out of ideas, so it was just like, let's just circle the wagon. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Let's take all the plot ideas that have made our movies popular and just try to throw them all into one movie and hope nobody really notices.
Toe tags.
Really cool. I wish they would have kept on this series. It only had had 10 issues.
Look at this. We got a zombified version of
Bruce Campbell.
Of Colin Farrell's Penguin, I was thinking.
No, that looks that was actually.
Does that not look like the Colin Farrell Penguin?
Yeah, but it's a homage to Bruce Campbell. Yeah,
we've already seen Deadite version of Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. Oh, here.
Oh, you got it?
No. I wish I did. Check this out. These are fun too. I used to love these. Cracked Magazine. Cracked Magazine.
Competitor of Mad, right?
Yeah. And I've always been a bigger fan of Cracked Magazine. I'll be perfectly honest with you. And I think maybe it's because they usually did parodies of stuff that I just happen to like more, like movies that I like more. Whereas Mad Magazine kind of parodied politics and was like social satire. Cracked Magazine was more like pop culture parody and more like poked fun at already like stuff that was either already funny or was like in genre stuff. Like they did Monster Party was like a quarterly thing. Like there was 4 Monster Parties usually put out a year after a certain run. It started off they'd only put one out a year, like that was like their annual almost kind of. Well, they had an annual and they had a Monster Party. But Monster Party, whereas in regular Cracked Magazine would have like brought like with movies that came out at the time or whatever. Monster Party always, parodied stuff that was in, the horror universe, and usually like classical stuff. But like towards the end, like this is and now the X-Files is coming back. That's why I decided to bring this one. That's actually working on its comeback as well. X-Files. But it's really cool. Like remember Vampire in Brooklyn? Eddie Murphy?
Yeah.
That's
I really enjoy that movie.
Dude, the parody they do of it in here is very hilarious.
I love how it's familiar at the end. Spoilers. Turns into a vampire when he finds his ring.
Yeah, dude, it's a mess. I really did like that. I liked that movie, and I liked not to sound like I'm like cornering something, but I used to love the Snoop Dogg movie Bones.
Okay, don't think I saw that one.
Oh, dude, it's so great. It's a great movie. Actually, I think it's on streaming for free. But that used to be like a great double feature. I used to love watching those two together. They were great. But Crack Magazine was great, and I always loved seeing it when it came out, and just like their parodies of stuff. Like it wasn't just comics and movies. Like they would parody products.
Doritos.
Yeah, and the horror. Whenever they did horror stuff, it was just so funny because it filled out all my necessities.
Mm-hmm.
It filled the horror corner. It filled the gross out corner. You know what I mean? It was very, very entertaining stuff.
Oh, the Gorita, are they just the toes? Was that the Doritos were?
Look, instead of chunky, it's a junkie bar, and it's just there's like actual just random bits of stuff in there. Here, we'll give you guys Here we're squandering all the good stuff.
Oh, look at the back. They're all in the back too.
Yeah, it's great stuff. These are fun. If you ever find them, they're not super valuable, and you could probably get a lot of these on eBay for like $20-$30. You could get a few of them. They're fun to read. It's like a time capsule. And at the same time, you can usually get a good laugh even if you're not into what they're parodying. It's some fun stuff. Like if you hate something, guarantee you they're gonna parody it, and you'll like the parody because it's making fun of something that you didn't like, and they were doing it before YouTube.
Fright Night.
Yeah, I was gonna take it up, and I realized I jacked this cover up. Any Fright Night fans? Our good bud Evil Ed. They actually did a really, really cool. They stayed. Now Comics put this out, which is unfortunately a defunct comic company. Now Comics did a lot of mainly horror stuff. Yeah.
Got some
the dragon. But these are really cool. Fright Night was one of my that's very, very much like one of my favorite vampire movies. I love Fright Night. Both of them. I like Fright Night 2 better than the first one.
What did you think of the?
It's a purist to the horror movie, but it's designed like an Archie Comics.
What did you think of the remake of Fright Night a few years ago?
Not a fan.
You don't like the David Tennant one?
No, I didn't like it, and they did 2 parts. They actually did.
Was there a second one?
Yeah, I forget what the second one was called, but it wasn't bad. But Fright Night 1 and 2 are such time capsules of their time.
Right. They did
the way that they changed the
Magician.
No, not even that is the way that they changed the tone of the whole movie.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't supposed to be a serious movie. It wasn't,
Right, but the original, I forget the name of the magician, but the magician that helps them hunt the vampires.
Well, he wasn't a magician. That's the thing. They jacked it all up. He was supposed to be a parody of Van Helsing. His name was.
But wasn't he
Peter Vincent?
Wasn't he still acting as a stage magician at some point in the movie?
No, he wasn't. He was a horror host.
I think I'm getting the two.
You are, and it's terrible because that was like the worst part of that remake. That's the main reason why I didn't like it.
I just love
Peter
David
Vincent
Tennant.
was awesome.
I love anything he does.
Well, that's fine, but Peter Vincent was great because the Peter Vincent character in Fright Night was a homage not only to like the Van Helsing character of the vampire lore, but Peter Vincent was named because of Peter Cushing and Vincent Price.
Okay.
So it was like a hybrid, and both of those characters played Van Helsing. Well, Peter Cushing, he was known for playing Van Helsing in the Hammer horror.
Well, but what's the other tie between the two movies? David Tennant played Doctor Who. Peter Cushing, for the TV movies, played Doctor Who.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that, but like it wasn't supposed to be a
Right.
magician. Had nothing.
Oh
to
no,
do
that was
with
just a
anything.
connection I just made when he said that.
Now these two here, and I'm going to be delving deeper into these two. I picked these up recently. These came out I think last year. DC's been reprinting some of their stories, some of their horror stories, and putting them together in anthology form. Halloween designed comics, which are really, really cool. I'm a big fan of Swamp Thing, so I'm probably going to read this one first. But this story, I had read this one before. I'm going to read this one again. This is this one's Marvel. This is a Blade story where he has all the other vampire hunters, and this is when they actually fight Dracula.
Okay.
So it's really cool, and it's the whole arc. So it's like
It's not the weird snake version of Dracula. That was in Blade 3, right?
no, man. It's really cool, and it's still when Blade looked really cool too. It's before they. It's when he looked very 70s. You know what I mean? Like he was like Vampire Shaft. I mean, he was. Look at it. Look how cool he is, bro. He is so cool. See, once Wesley Snipes played Blade, like everybody forgot what Blade originally looked like, man. Like he was just so cool. He was just the coolest guy. Not saying that Wesley Snipes isn't cool as Blade, because that's an awesome movie. Why can't I find a good one? There we are. Look at that.
Nice.
Mother of mine, I've finally done it. I've killed Dracula. He is so cool. You know what I mean? Oh, it's so awesome. But yeah, look, I mean, Dracula's bad, dude.
Gotta say,
Very, very cool. Very cool stuff.
I do prefer. I think the later Marvel version of Dracula looks cooler. The version of Dracula that goes up against the Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
With the blue skin.
Yeah, he is
And the
really,
armor.
really cool. Don't you think he's kind of like a take on like Mephisto, though?
On who?
On,
Mephisto?
yeah, Mephisto.
No, I think he's more of a take on. To me, he's more similar to what's the head of the Dark Elves from Thor.
I know exactly what you're talking about too.
Chris Eccleston played him in the movie.
Yeah, Loki's dad, real dad, right?
No. Loki's dad was the Frost Giant.
That's right.
This is Dark Elf
yeah.
in
Shoot,
the second movie.
I can't remember.
Yeah, but he kind of to me looks like
Looks like that.
yeah.
Okay. Fun stuff. Well, what other kind of monster madness are we gonna
Well,
get into today?
earlier we were talking a little bit about favorite pumpkin carving scenes.
Oh yeah, we were talking about favorite pumpkin.
I think we
carving
initially both picked the same one, but
Yeah.
then you came up with another one.
scenes. Yep.
So, the one that we had both thought was a really cool. Well, I don't know if I'd say cool, but funny in a dark way. There's a scene in Trick or Treat, which I think Trick or Treat to me is at least with from the aughts forward is the best
Oh yeah.
anthology
Let's see,
horror movie.
Hands down. I mean, it's honestly, and
Brilliant.
as a pure horror fan, it's hands down like one of my most favorite new horror movies. I don't like new horror movies. I love
based
Trick
on
or
a horror
Treat.
comic book.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the really so this scene, this pumpkin carving scene.
Pumpkin carving scene.
Spoilers. One of the characters is a principal who occasionally enjoys killing his students, and
Who plays the principal?
I can't remember the name of the actor, but
He's great.
what's his name?
He's one of our favorite talk show hosts.
Right, but I can't remember his name.
Daily Show. He looks just like Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, but he's not Steve.
I know.
Colbert.
I always thought I know.
He
Every
doesn't
time I
look-
watch,
I don't think he looks like Stephen Colbert.
I almost had dude. Every time I watch Trick or Treat, I'm like, they should have got Stephen Colbert to play this role.
That
Dude, he
would
would've
have been cool.
Great
Yeah.
at this.
That would have been cool.
Carry on.
Anyway, so he poisons this one kid,
A trick or treater,
a trick-or-treater, a student at his school.
which is actually the opening story.
Right. And that, well, no, technically the opening story
Well,
is
yeah,
the couple.
right. But I mean, like the first actual full
Right.
story, because that's actually the first story in Trick or
Part
Treat
of a story that you
is
see-
actually the last
last
story.
yeah.
It's
Because
what ties the
even
two
though it's
together.
even though it's an anthology, all the stories are tied together.
Right.
But anyway, so the principal kills this kid, and he drags the body into his house. And,
No, he drags the body outside.
right, but doesn't he go through the house? Yeah, because remember the blood's on the.
Yeah.
Um,
Only one part of him stays in the house.
right. So later, it looks like his kid's like pissing him off, and they're about to carve pumpkins. They're in the basement, and you see him approaching his kid from behind with a knife, and then he stabs something, and you're
And you're like, oh my
"Believe
god.
he killed his own son." And the kid's like, "I want to do a scary face," and then it shows the head of the kid
Yeah.
that he
And
killed.
he's like, don't forget to help me with the eyes.
yeah, so they're not carving a pumpkin; they're carving,
They're carving
a child's
a
head.
jack-o'-lantern out of the kid's head that he just
Yeah.
killed, of the trick-or-treater he just killed.
And this guy is so demented that he's raising his son this way.
Who is now also demented. It's like what you would picture like the how like the family in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like this is how families like that start.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. What we were talking and well, we had both picked that one, so I was like, to be fair, I was like, all right, fine, I'll pick another one. And you got the classic, Halloween, and it's like you don't really think about the pumpkin carving scene so much in Halloween because of all Michael Myers and all the other amazing stuff. But if you think about it, the pumpkin in Halloween has more screen time
Mhm.
than any character in the entire movie. The pumpkin literally makes it through every step of the way through the movie. Tommy carries the pumpkin at the beginning when the kids bully him. Boogeyman, 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 and he drops his pumpkin, and that's when he runs into Michael Myers for the first time. So it's like the pumpkin travels along through the movie. Then Jamie Lee Curtis is in the car, gets picked up to go babysitting, and she's sitting there on the thing with the pumpkin. Then she's later at the Doyle's house, working on getting the kids carving the pumpkin. So like the pumpkin carving, the jack-o'-lantern, really is the whole movie, and it's like literally it's the first thing you see, and it goes literally through the entirety of the movie, where they even actually it's sitting on the bedstand of not Laurie, his first murder, when she's going into the house in the bedroom, she's walking around, that jack-o'-lantern sitting in the bedroom. Everybody's like, I always be like, who puts a lit jack-o'-lantern next to their bed? And it's
Somebody doesn't have a nightlight.
right, but what I'm saying is like that's like it's almost like that's like the presence of like that's like your warning sign of
Right.
like Michael Myers. Like a Michael Myers scene's coming up because the pumpkin was just in the scene beforehand.
Okay.
It's pretty crazy. So like that's like in a way like it's.
So is the pumpkin breaking the fourth wall?
I think so. I think the pumpkin is like. Yeah, when you're watching Halloween, I always feel like I feel a certain dedication almost to watching it every year. And I think it's because it's such an atmospheric movie, and in tying up like what I was saying about the pumpkin, and it being such an atmospheric Halloween movie, I think the pumpkin in the movie kind of represents us in the movie. We're right in the middle of this scene, but we're like kind of silent. We're like quiet, like a jack-o'-lantern. We can't stop Michael Myers from being there, but we're there to witness every step of the movie, just like the jack-o'-lantern.
So, you mentioned atmospheric, and I immediately thought I really screwed up with our lighting on this show because I wanted to set the atmosphere for Halloween, and I realized I had a better setting that would have worked this whole time.
What's that?
Oh wait,
Oh.
never mind. That wasn't as good as I expected.
Wasn't it?
Is that warmer than what we have?
I don't know. I like how you pick the times to do these things.
I'm playing with the lights on the.
You know what? We should turn. If maybe we had that light off.
Oh damn it! That was it. That's what screwed us up. You're seeing the behind the scenes of how we
don't do things sometimes.
our remote lighting setup.
What else do we got? We haven't decided whether we're doing a watch through of Godzilla because, well, it's like impossible to show any Godzilla footage while you're watching it because
Toho's not.
We love
friendly.
Toho. Toho, don't get mad at us. We love you.
But
don't
you need
ever
to be,
stop the G.
But you need to be kinder to us content creators that are trying to support.
Yeah, we want to show We want to show G off. We're proud of him.
Yeah,
we want to show him off too.
We want to get Godzilla some love.
But we're gonna.
So you need to work with us.
we're gonna figure something out. My Massey here's been chomping at the bit about this Mecha Godzilla movie. So we're gonna tackle a Godzilla feature within this week. Get something up talking about a Godzilla. I'd like to I think I'm gonna introduce you to some horror that might be outside of your wheelhouse. You know, since you're getting me into ghost stories, I think I'm gonna bring Chris Massey here over to Jake's horror exploitive world. See what kind of fear really drives this man. Some good stuff. What are you thinking about?
Just none of these cannibal movies. Not into.
Oh no! We're gonna go for a lot gorier than that.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I'm not a gore. I won't do gore movies. Don't like.
Hey, look, he's already getting. Oh, you're not gonna take a little Peter Jackson Dead Alive? You can't take a little Dead Alive. It's only the goriest film ever made.
Not
Peter
into that
Jackson,
stuff.
Lord of the Rings. What about Bad Taste? You don't even know what that is.
Dude, I don't even like Hostel, man. Can't do Hostel.
I don't like body horror. I'm with you on that. I'm not into that either. I like torture porn. Not into it. Doesn't do it for me. I'm not big on Saw either. I've told you that before.
Yes, we are hating on Hostel. That's a nasty series.
Yeah, they can have it. They can keep that. I will never stay on either.
Looking for horror movies to celebrate Halloween? Not Hostel. Don't do it.
And I think being the the resident Nerd Impact horror fan, I've been trying to get a little bit more exposure to things outside of my wheelhouse, but now I'm glad I'm finally in my time. I'm doing all atmosphere horror this year. I usually try to pack my movie watching schedule full. Like I try to cram in 60 movies in 30 days. But I haven't really done that. I've been trying to stick a little bit more to the classics, some more traditional stuff, but I'm going for all atmospheric horror because I think one of the biggest things that we're missing nowadays is we've lost a little sight, you know what I mean, of that good old fashioned that homey feeling. And I think this time of year, the reason why everybody bitches, every year Christmas stuff comes into the stores sooner and Halloween stuff's out in August, and you know what? In times like this, when such crazy stuff's going on and we're being, pushed with fear from every angle in society, and we're finally in a time of year when we're allowed to be a little bit scared, and the light's going away from the day at this time of year, and it's starting to get a little cold out. Halloween's that time where you're allowed to let fear run a little rampant, and if we're not gonna go out and trick or treat like we used to do traditionally, I think maybe it's time to to look into some more of our other older, more traditional Halloween things, and just to build that nostalgic feeling at home a little bit more than what we used to. There's so much good stuff out there, whether it's making your own Halloween candies, or pumpkin carving, like we were saying, like amazing stuff that we saw on the streets today. Like that inspired me, dude. I want to go out and get a handful of gourds, dude, and just like sit out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just,
we were in West Reading today, and we actually we saw a guy from what was his name?
Oh, I can't remember, but he was recently featured
Halloween
on the Halloween
Wars.
Wars on Food Network.
And he was carving this huge pumpkin,
2 gigantic pumpkins.
it
was incredible.
into like a killer clown.
Yeah, it looked like almost like an It clown.
Right. But when I say carving a pumpkin, I do not mean a jack-o'-lantern. I mean this guy was sculpting
Well, I'll post that
a
picture on
statue
Facebook.
out of a pumpkin.
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, literally, this thing was probably 6-7 foot tall.
Yeah, it's huge.
It was incredible, and he's doing it all with a hand peeler.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like that was so. You know, we're walking out in town, everybody's covered in masks, but like just for that 1 second when we were standing there, it's like just that whole feeling, you know. And that's kind of what I want. That's what I'm looking for from my Halloween this year. I'm tired of this 2020 atmosphere. I want to get my autumn on. I want to get my Halloween on. And I'm just gonna. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm doing atmospheric horror this year. Some of the good classics, your haunted house movies, you know, your black and white, those dusty old spooky rain. You know, when hearing the storm blowing outside and them eerie organ music. You
gonna watch Haunted Mansion?
Hey, you know,
some Eddie Murphy.
I probably won't.
Probably won't.
I probably won't. But you know what? I still might not. So that's there too. The Haunted Mansion ride at Disney was incredible. That was awesome. I truly love that.
I did recently watch the original Witches.
Oh, isn't it great?
Love that movie.
Oh,
as well as Hocus Pocus.
Dude, you cannot top Jim Henson quality effects, bro.
Yeah,
they were just incredible, dude. Just the mouse, the mouse effects that they did with that. You know, there was not a single live mouse on that set. Even that one that scatters all across.
Not even the white mice, the pet.
No, the pet mice. No,
okay.
I'm talking about the main one.
Right.
Even when, animatronic, dude.
That's awesome.
Incredible, dude. The stuff that they did. Small engines and strings. It's just incredible stuff. It seems like that's just things like you watch that old one, like you probably felt like a kid again.
Yeah.
Like watching that. It's like when you really get that real feeling, that pure feeling of that Halloween spirit. There's a reason why they call it Spirit of Halloween. That's why they call it that story, because it really is. It's not just the
same goes for Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
You watch Hocus Pocus, you feel 10 years old.
You wouldn't feel as awesome at Christmas time if you didn't have Halloween before it.
Or if you didn't have Nightmare Before Christmas in between.
Right. You know?
I always argue, the Halloween...
Go ahead.
Nightmare Before Christmas,
Halloween or Christmas?
Neither. It's a Thanksgiving movie because it's right in between.
Right. Absolutely.
Oh, you agree with that?
It's the Thanksgiving of movies. No, because it's true. Seriously. Nightmare Before Christmas. It's the movie that... It's a movie that keeps on giving the whole year round. Just like Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? I freeze my turkey. I can enjoy a Thanksgiving turkey sandwich in the middle of July if I want to. And just like I can get the same great ambient feeling from Nightmare Before Christmas. That's usually my Christmas in July movie. Because it's like, do I really feel like watching a cold movie when it's hot? Yeah. But Nightmare Before Christmas is so awesome. And it doesn't know what holiday it's either, and it doesn't care. Like, what is this?
You know what? It's funny because that's the one that's most explicit about it. But I would argue that no Tim Burton movie knows
which
holiday it's.
No, because it's its own thing. The Burtonverse is like its own thing.
All Tim Burton movies that are supposed to be Christmas movies. Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
Do
you ever notice that Edward Scissorhands is a Christmas movie that takes place during the summer?
Yes, that's weird. And Batman, yes, I was just thinking that too when I said, I'm like, wait a minute, it does take place during the summer.
Yeah, but it's the Christmas movie.
Or is it just because of where it takes place?
It doesn't.
No, but there is
take place anywhere.
But there is a scene with snow.
Let me blow your mind.
There's a scene with snow in that movie.
Ready to have your mind blown?
And then it's in the summer.
Ready to have your mind blown?
What?
All Tim Burton movies after Beetlejuice take place on the map of the living map in Beetlejuice.
We're gonna have to do a theory video on this.
You're welcome. I just watched your, like, if you couldn't tell that, that's what an implosion sounds like in space.
Anyway, so
how else could it be summer and snow? Because the snow isn't real and the sunlight's artificial.
but what I'm getting at though is, and you even watch Batman Returns, and which, okay, anybody says is a Christmas movie, and if
Well, it is. Hey, Batman needs a Christmas movie too.
and
He owns summer and winter.
but here's the weird thing. Like I said, Nightmare Before Christmas is the only one that's most explicit about it. But they are all Christmas movies that feel like Halloween movies.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's really kind of Tim Burton. That
Right.
kind of explains him.
Except Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice does not take place during Christmas.
Right. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's crazy. And I don't think it's just a theory. I'm pretty sure it's a real thing. And I'm pretty sure if you asked Tim Burton, he would lie to you. Just so that you would keep looking into it.
Huh.
Think of how dedicated that guy was to his model.
Is Big Fish a Tim Burton movie?
No. That's not.
No, it
that's,
just features a lot of actors that Tim Burton likes to use.
Right. And it had a Burton-esque kind of feel to it. But notice, it didn't feel like a Halloween
Right.
movie at Christmas.
It did have his ex-wife though in it, didn't it?
Yeah,
she was
Helen
the witch.
Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
But she always plays that character. I'm pretty sure she would have played that character in another movie if that movie didn't come out.
Mm-hmm.
I like Helen Bonham Carter though. My favorite movie of hers, which has nothing to do with Halloween whatsoever. Although it is kind of like, actually, you know what? In a way, it could be something you watch during that kind of, because the movies. Excuse my language, total mindfuck. Fight Club.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one of Helen Carter's best roles ever.
I just thought of another Tim Burton one that I think is technically a Christmas movie that feels like a Halloween movie. Why am I blanking on the name? The Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Oh, Sweeney Todd.
Isn't that supposed to be a Christmas movie, or doesn't it take place around the Christmas season?
It takes place in the winter, but that's just a British
Okay.
story. I don't think
But meat
I have
pies,
to-
though, is traditionally
No, but it's not a.
It's a
not
seasonal
Yeah, it's a
food.
seasonal, but like as in the winter season.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Mince meat pies are a traditional
All right.
commoner food there. Well, from that era, from the Victorian era. It might be. And I've seen the off-Broadway stage production of it, and I went and saw it in the summer, so but it didn't have I don't think it had a Christmas edge to it. Like I said, I think it's just the way his cinematography, it's just, that's his setting. You know, I think it would have had that setting no matter what.
all right, guys.
Like, can you imagine if Tim Burton, like, directed Justice League?
I don't want that.
You don't want that?
I don't want that. I don't want that version of. I've seen Tim Burton's concept for his version of Superman,
Yeah.
and I don't want that. I don't want Edward Scissorhands as Superman.
What about Nick Cage?
No, let's not do that.
Even for Halloween? What if that's gonna be, you know what? I finally figured out my costume for this year.
You would be Nick Cage as
I'm
Superman?
gonna go as Nick Cage as Superman.
You can pull it off.
I could pull it off.
Got a little bit of Nick
A
Cage.
little bit in there. I'm graying a little bit, and I don't have a receding hairline, but
No, dude, you would you would actually make a good Poe for Halloween from Con Air,
you're right.
the best Nicolas Cage movie.
Put the bunny down.
Put the bunny back in the box. Why wouldn't you put the bunny back in the box?
That's my daughter's bunny.
That's an largely underrated movie.
It is, and he has just the worst Southern accent ever. It's so bad.
Not the only movie that he does a Southern accent in either.
No, he doesn't. He loves doing a bad Southern accent. Nick Cage just loves doing things weird.
Raising Arizona.
Oh, it's a great movie. That's one of his earlier ones.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I mean, it's not up there with what's his vampire movie? please watch the Nick Cage vampire movie this year, even though I can't remember what it's called.
I know, I've seen it.
Oh, it's so bad, and that's like where he does a lot of his eccentric acting.
Yeah.
Like you get a lot of your
Because
favorite.
he's just nuts in that.
Yeah,
He's
when he does that
completely
alphabet thing.
Yeah.
That's in that movie. A B C D. That's so great. Nick Cage is the man.
And
could be
he
Superman.
thinks at the end he thinks he's going into a coffin. And he just turns the couch upside down on himself.
It's basically what modern psychology had their take on lycanthropy is.
What that is with vampires.
Yeah, with vampirism.
Yeah.
Whereas like he really believes that he got bit by a vampire, and it's him in public, like everybody is confused by this man ranting and raving that he's turning into a vampire. I mean, he genuinely believes it, and he's so over the top convincing in that movie where it's like, can somebody just please tell him that they believe he's a vampire? Like oh my god. Oh, such a good movie. He's so bad. He's so good. He's so bad. He's so good.
All right, guys.
He could be Bruce Wayne. He's an eccentric billionaire in real life.
Yeah, but Bruce Wayne didn't waste all his money. But anyway, so
Hey, they were Beatles albums, okay? They're priceless.
and a copy of Action Comics #1.
That's right. How many people do you know that have that? And how bad would you like
And he
one?
did name his son Kal-El, so he does have that.
He's a badass. We love you, Nick Cage. Big fan.
Right.
Big fans here. We
We're
want you to
looking-
be Superman.
we're-
Everybody here at Nerd Impact wants you to be Superman.
I will agree to the idea of you being Superman if you agree to do an interview with us. But
Yo, I know your feelings of this, but what if our buddies from Channel Awesome decided to prank us and do that because they what's his name, Doug loves to do the Nicolas Cage voice. How would you feel about that if Doug called up as Nicolas Cage? Would you be honest with him?
would I be honest with Nicolas Cage?
No.
Or Doug thinking he's Nicolas Cage?
Yeah. It would be your first opportunity to finally.
I don't know. I have to think about that. But anyway, guys, we hit an hour here.
We had a great time.
We filled our size, our video
about.
size. So, like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned to see if we have other Halloween stuff come up. Have a good Halloween. Have a safe Halloween. And
And let your imagination scare you.
stay nerdy.